Hello and welcome to round one with Living End in Modern. The rest of these videos, as well as basically everything Star City's ever made, can be found on our YouTube channel, Star City Games. This is a keep. So I do want to talk about it a little bit. The hand is kind of a five-carder, but at the same time, it's also kind of just like a eight-carder because you just have so many cyclers. I'm willing to keep loose-ish hands like this. You don't really need to interact as long as you've got your chains going. So we are playing against probably some Death Shadow variant. We could also be playing against like Lantern, I guess. Lantern Game 1 seems like a horrendous matchup. But people have not played that for a while. Tapped. Interesting. Just looking, who did my opponent target? They targeted me. Okay, cool. I'm gonna cycle Street Wraith first. Okay. The idea being if I had a painless land, I might not want to actually cycle or I might not want to take two off of the stomping ground. There we go. So fortunate. I'm actually gonna discard a horror here, just like a free creature to the graveyard. So my opponent saw Violent Outburst. So the indication of them playing their hand slow is that they're gonna try to time their discard spells a little later. They could be the Delirium deck. Each player discards a card. I'm gonna discard a Living End. Okay, I have a lot of things. That was quite good. So, let's see here. Opponent's probably going to try to fire a discard spell here. Yeah, I'm going to lose the Violent Outburst. Liliana Plus, I'm going to discard this other Living End. I'm going to try to Beast Within this Liliana soon. And then I just have to be careful to not get into range of dying to the Street Wraith on the flashback. If my opponent just has an extra Street Wraith, potentially. Them playing tap lands is kind of weird. Guess that just implies they don't have a Death Shadow. But they have a Delirious Traverse? Oh, they played their lands tapped. That's what I meant. That's just... I don't know. I feel like they could have just taken the damage and been fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Millions of damage. So this Tarmogoyf hit is for quite a bit. I believe I just 5, 6. Cool. Well, I guess they're kind of just hoping I didn't hit. I'm trying to think. Oh, there we go. Drawing all the Living Ends. The odds are whatever, like 1 out of 4 that the one on my deck is not, or is that one, but I think I'm supposed to just fire and make a bunch of power. I don't think waiting to kill Liliana is super effective here. My opponent gets back a Street Wraith. I still have a kill spell in my hand via the Beast Within. That's what's going on. And I'm not going to cast another Living End this game. Yeah, this is just approximately infinity power. Nine, 4. So I'm stacking Monstrous Carabid if my opponent minuses Lily. Okay, well, my opponent's conceding the game. That's basically the same thing. So, Ricochet doesn't do anything. Ingot Chewer. My opponent's maybe has maybe, very maybe has. I don't want to group creatures separately. I want to do the opposite of that. Whatever. Maybe has Neil Spellbomb, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm going to leave him Beast Within a hedge there. I actively want to draw less Living End in this matchup because there is a risk of getting Surgical. I'm going to board in a Leyline instead of one. And I'm not huge on Fulminator. I'm just going to have like 2 Leylines. I'd rather have, I think this Leyline's more important than, though, is that true? Against Surgical? It's like target card in a graveyard. Yeah, maybe just want less of that. There we go. Just do something like this. Don't really work on too much. Just have a Leyline if I have it. Void is okay against some other stuff, but not huge. I guess depending on how their gameplay goes, I'm gonna mix it up a little. Just see what happens. This is a classic. I think Jerry T was the one who pioneered the one of Leyline nonsense. On the play, I'll probably have the Fulminators because I think you can bury your opponent with a Simian on the play. Worth noting that the deck does not have Shriek Maw anywhere. Past lists have. The Leylines are kind of taking up the sideboard slots. Ooh, I kind of like this hand. I keep nonsense like this all the time. But the idea is that like it maximizes the ratio of like times you hit it in your opening hand to times you draw it and it's bad. That's why there's like one Leyline. Kind of regret this not being Leyline of White instead. If I get Thoughtseized, I should probably cycle Street Wraith in response. Targeting me. So the basic implication is that my opponent knew 100% they were going to play a discard spell on one, so that probably means they have a second discard spell. If my opponent Inquisition, I wouldn't have done that, but yeah, this is fine. If you take Simian here, I'm pretty happy. That result's fine. Wow, I'm so smart to draw that exact land in this situation. I have no need to make proactive plays. This hand is bad. It's now bad against Liliana, but I've shut off Tarmogoyf. I've shut off Death Shadow. I'm going to cycle Deadshot first because Surgical and Ceradon would be marginally obnoxious. Because I actually want cards. This is going to be a crappy Tarmogoyf. Yeah, Squire Goyf. Yeah, I actively want cards, so I'm going to cycle this. That's an interesting draw given what I'm doing. I'm going to main phase cycle this. Hope I hit a land. Not that is super interesting. That's now disappointing. Though it does imply my opponent doesn't have Liliana, or I think they knew about the outburst. I don't know. They probably don't have Liliana. I think they would have tried to stick it here. I could play a Fulminator. Is denying my opponent a color of mana relevant? Not actually sure it is. Actually, it does make my follow-up, my living end, like, absolutely backbreaking, so I kind of like that. I'm also not under a lot of pressure. I'm also just going to give my opponent a million life. They didn't have a Liliana last turn, so I'm not hugely concerned. I have no idea what 4-drop they could be casting. Just going to do this. And I think I don't care about red mana. Green, in theory, casts other Tarmogoyfs or Traverse to get basics out of their deck. So I'm going to main phase cycle this because if I hit a, well, I didn't hit the thing. Marsh comes untapped this turn, but not next, so I should play it. And then this I'm going to wait to cycle. We're at the point where I want to cycle at a time where my opponent is incapable of casting like an Inquisition after I cycle. So their end step, preferably. Inquisition of Kozilek, please. Okay, here we go. Cycling. Cycling. So here I'm just thinking about like lines of against surgical. I think I'm safe to cycle this horror here against surgical. Oh my gosh. Well, I think it's about time to cast Simian Spirit Guide. Yeah, it's about that hour. Ape Spirit, go. I guess I could have saved my Fulminator. No, I couldn't have done anything. Worth noting, I do need to keep a card in my hand. I probably should have fetched to get a basic swamp there. It conserves a card and gives me a black source. And the second black source matters for cycling. I'm fine just playing this and passing. So my opponent's in like hard cast Rav Trap mode. If that happens to me, that happens to me. My opponent's not opting into Dash out of range, therefore I'm not opting into giving them free life on end step. Okay. Yeah, now is probably a perfectly fine time. I don't see a reason to wait. Oh, no, don't. Yeah, okay, did not click through that. Okay. I hope this is sufficient. Oh, no. No, I wanted to kill your, like, what? Come back. I wasn't done. I had a land to kill before attacking for 40.